How are you guys? It's the Czar of Dating. We take no prisoners. Today is story time. My first Milf. I finally fulfilled my fantasy of sleeping with my first Milf when I was about 20 years old. Before I start this incredible story you don't want to miss, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at Czar of Dating. Click on that notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. Let's get into it. So this happened when I was 20 years old. I worked at this major fitness center from age 16 up until age 21, 22. Now, the perks of working at a fitness center where you're the receptionist is you have to talk to everyone. You have to talk to the women that come in, the men, you have to answer phone calls. I was always that shy, reserved kid. I didn't have the confidence I have now. So this place, working there for several years, really helped build up my confidence. It helped me work on my mouthpiece, where I started building my charm, my charisma. My confidence became impeccable. I started learning the game from working at this fitness center. That was the major turning point in my life when it came to women. So I advise you guys, if you're going to get a job at a young age, get a job that involves communication skills. You're only going to get better at it. I was never the guy that had the confidence, that had the charm, the charisma. I was nervous. I was shy around beautiful women. If I can do it, you guys can do it. You see the result right before your eyes. The person I am now. I have absolutely no fucks to give anymore like I used to back in the day. And it was all thanks to this fitness center I worked at. So I was sleeping with girls that had boyfriends. They would come in with their boyfriends. Girls that visited from college. They would use the fitness center for 2 or 3 months. I slept with employees when I worked there. The lifeguards, you name it. I was sleeping with everyone. Pre-selection is one of the most powerful tools you have in your toolbox when it comes to women. So eventually, over time, I would have so many beautiful women coming in to see me. They would just hang around at the front desk where I was working by myself late at night. They wouldn't leave. Sometimes they would come in. They wouldn't even work out. They would come in just to see me and to speak with me. Now, this created an effect with the other women. They would always see a beautiful girl at my desk flirting with me, trying to get with me. They could tell these women were attracted to me. That set the tone for how everyone else viewed me at that gym. All the other women wanted me because of pre-selection. It's the sheep herd mentality when it comes to women. So this happened when I was 20 years old, 4 years later after working there. So I knew the gym pretty well. I was very confident, very comfortable at that place. I knew nearly every member that walked in and out. This beautiful short-haired blonde bombshell, she was possibly the sexiest woman that would go to that gym. She would come in periodically late at night. She would take her classes in the studio. She would wear these tight black yoga pants that just made that ass of hers, that juicy ass, stick out every time she walked. She didn't have the biggest chest. I didn't care about that. But she had the sexiest face and the sexiest legs you will ever see on a woman. She had that cheerleader and gymnast type body. She would drop off her 2 little kids in the daycare, and then she would go along her way. She would do her workout, whether in the studio or in the weight area, doing her cardio, whatever it was. She never really showed interest in me. She would walk by, she would say hi and smile, but that's it. But she never really showed interest in me, maybe because she was married and her husband also went to that gym, and I actually knew him. I'll get to that part later, fellas. I know you're going to judge me, but once again, I was 20 years old. You're dumb, you're young, and you're full of you know what at that age. I know better now. So one night, as she's leaving the gym, it was about 8:30, maybe 9 p.m. at night. I was closing on that weeknight. Before she leaves, as she's walking away from the front desk, she's walking towards the exit, I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let me give it my best try. I'm going to throw a Hail Mary out there. I'm going to make a bold comment. What do I have to lose? I don't give a fuck. I didn't have any fucks back then. If you thought I'm bad now, you should have seen me over 10 years ago. I was 10 times worse than I am now. I calmed down a lot, fellas. So as she's slowly walking away, I said, so when are you inviting me over? She stops in her tracks, and I thought, oh, fuck, I should have never said that. But I believed it. I really meant it. I didn't just say it to be funny. I really meant it because I wanted her. She stops halfway from the exit. She turns around slowly. She gives me this seductive look, and she said, that's funny you say that because my husband isn't going to be home tonight. She smiled, and she just walked away. I knew, okay, now she wants it. I know she wants it now. There's no way in hell a woman's going to say that and she doesn't want to get that grade A hot beef injection from you. So I look her up in the computer system we had. I knew her first and last name. I look her up. I get her phone number. I texted her from my phone that night. Texted her. She had my number. I had hers now. We would chat periodically here and there until we became closer and closer. So one night, she invites me over to her place. She said her husband was away on a business trip in another state. I'm not going to say what state that is in case he's watching this. I don't want him to fucking know it was me. I go over to her house that night. Obviously, I parked a street down around the corner. You don't park right next to their house, fellas. Their neighbors might see you. Who knows who might see you in your car? So you got to be very discreet. And this was one of the richest neighborhoods in New Jersey. She actually lived 5 minutes from me, a town over, so it was very convenient. I walk in, confident as a motherfucker. She already put her kids to sleep upstairs. She's on the couch, lights are out, TV's on. She has a beautiful home, very clean. I find out she took Valium that night. And you'll understand this, fellas. The older, beautiful, wealthy women, majority of them, they're on medication. I've dated successful doctors who are on Ambien, who are on Valium, who are on Xanax, who drink a lot of wine. You'll understand that once you start dating these wealthy, older women. She was also drinking wine on the Valium. I don't know if that had an effect on her anxiety, but she was very confident that night as well. She actually gave me a Valium, and I took it. I took the Valium. I was drinking wine with her. I was in a very good mood. It just turned the switch on in me where I had no anxiety whatsoever. I was so chill that night. Me and her were having a great time. We were making out. We're cuddling next to each other on the couch. Her ass is up against my waist as we're watching TV. And then I tested her. I challenged her. I said, listen, you're all talk. I know you're not going to sleep with me. You're all talk. All those texts you send me, how flirty you are, how seductive you are. I think you're full of shit. That's what triggered her. She said, oh yeah, I'm full of shit. She puts me on the floor next to the couch. I'm laying there on the floor, and she just rips her black yoga pants off. She didn't even wear any panties that night, fellas. And she just starts getting on top of me. She starts riding me with those big ass cheeks of her, just slamming down on my waist. She had a little bit of a fuzzy bump there. She didn't shave 100%, and I like that. I like hair on a woman in that area because it shows me she's a mature woman. She's a grown woman. I have no problem with that. It still looked sexy as fuck. She's riding me for about 10 minutes. I tell her to get up. She goes on the couch, doggy style. Knees are on the couch. I'm behind her. I just see waves of her ass just smacking up and back and forth up against my waist. You just see waves crashing of her huge, beautiful ass cheeks. After 5-10 minutes of banging her doggy, pull out, I came all over her back. I shot up close to her neck. She gets up, she goes to the kitchen walking naked. It was so sexy, fellas. She grabs a paper towel and she cleans herself up. But it was just the way she would walk when she was naked. And then she kept teasing me how I shot her in the back with my you-know-what. And it turned into something a little bit more serious with her after that. She started catching feelings, fellas. I didn't want that to happen, but she couldn't help it. She would text me all the time. She would stop by my other jobs I had and drop me off fruit. She would drop me off food. She would drop me off sliced fruit, whatever it was. Ice cream. She would always stop by and see me, and she was still married, fellas. I knew I had to quit that fitness center job because I was scared of her husband finding out. And I was actually pretty cool with him. I wasn't the best of friends with him, but I knew of him. I knew him. He actually gave me this book before I banged his wife. He gave me this book I still have to this day, fellas. It's right here. It's called Atlas Shrugged. This is the book he gave me at the fitness center when I'm standing behind a desk right before I banged his wife. I didn't know it was going to happen, but it happened. So eventually, a year, 2 years down the line, he ended up finding out. He went through her phone records. He knew something was up. She kept texting me. She was falling for me. She was beginning to get careless. She got careless, and that's what happened. He found out. He ended up actually messaging me and asking me if I slept with his wife. And I told him no. I couldn't admit it to him. And I didn't want to do that to her. I didn't want to throw her under the bus because I don't do that with women, fellas. I know what I did. I was responsible for it. I don't suggest you guys do that. It's a very messed up situation because they got a divorce now because of that. This happened years ago. They got a divorce. I know she gained a lot of weight. I saw recent pictures. She started drinking a lot. But the reality of it is this, fellas. Karma will get you eventually. So I don't suggest you ever mess with married women. I was very reckless back then. I did not care. Now I'm more careful. If she has a boyfriend, I really don't give a fuck. But if she's a married woman, unless if she doesn't tell me and I have no knowledge of that, because the majority of women will sleep with you and you'll find out after that they have a man, they're married, they're living with another man, they just got engaged, whatever it is. But if you know prior to that she's married, don't do it, fellas. Don't do it because you're going to ruin a happy home. And karma is real. Karma is real. Trust me, I was already dealt with that karma. I was already dealt with that. But you have to understand that what you do comes back to haunt you eventually. It was a great time. Everyone at the gym found out, the employees that worked there, and they praised me so much because she was the hottest woman. She was the hottest woman that ever went to that fitness center. Hands down, she's possibly still the hottest woman that has ever stepped foot in that fitness center. Everyone knew me as this legend if they didn't beforehand because they knew I was sleeping with almost everyone. The members, the employees, the girls that would come in that had boyfriends, they saw all this. The employees saw, they knew my reputation there. And my name is still spread throughout that place. They still talk about me till this day. And that was about 12 years ago. And my name still gets thrown around. That's how much of a legend. That's the kind of mark I left at that place. Am I happy about it? Yes. Would I ever go for married women ever again? No. But once again, that was the past, fellas. Don't judge me for a little piece of my story. Judge me from beginning to end. That's all I ask from you, okay? But that fulfilled my fantasy. I always believed I was never going to sleep with the Milf, and then it happened. And then it happens, fellas, when you least expect it to. And a year later, I actually slept with another Milf, but she ended up getting a divorce before I did it. I ended up sleeping with another Milf, and it just kept coming. It was like a domino effect. Once you sleep with your first Milf, then you get your second, your third, your fourth, and so on. So I've slept with a lot of older women, a lot of cougars, a lot of Milfs. The secret with older women now, you have to turn the alpha down a little bit. And you have to be more charming and more charismatic. The younger the girl, the more narcissistic you have to be, the more alpha you have to be. You have to be more of the lovable asshole with the younger women. But with the older, mature women, what I noticed that works the best, be charming, be charismatic. That's the guy that they want. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to give you more stories. I'm just getting started. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at Czar of Dating. My attraction course is done. If you guys want to purchase it, I'll leave the link down below. My relationship course is also done. I have a special VIP membership on my Discord channel. For $26 a month, you get to talk to me and the other groups and the other members of the group where we teach you game. You can bring in screenshots, messages. We have bi-monthly meetings where I go live and we discuss game. You can't beat that. But if you buy the full attraction course for $206, let me know. You get 3 months free in my VIP Discord. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. I'm going to keep these stories coming. Ain't no one have stories like I do. I can promise you that. We take no prisoners. I'm fucking out.